Valve bans some players, Team Solo Mid pays some players, and some smashers are sent scrambling. All of this and more on today's leaderboard, where I am joined, as always, by the Daily Dot's Jared Wynne. Jared, so lovely to see you. And John Reisinger abandoned us to go to California. Jerk. The biggest news in esports over the past couple of weeks was likely Valve banning a number of players from participating in major Counter-Strike tournaments. Most of the players were formerly of American team iBuyPower and were, at their peak, considered to be among the world's best. But a match-fixing scandal that rocked the Counter-Strike scene has now sent some of the best players in North America out to pasture, and other leagues and organizations have fallen in line behind Valve's decision. Jared, this was pretty monumental for Valve to get involved, right?
Quite monumental, Meg. The big question was, what was Valve going to do? Because they had not made a move like this in the past. In fact, they haven't really officially acknowledged the whole betting thing anyway, with CSGO Lounge being so prominent, with skins being swapped back and forth for money. So for them to come in and to straight up ban a number of players from major events, that's a big statement, obviously. And no one knew it was going to happen. Even people who reported on this, who gave information to Valve to make this decision, well, of course, Valve had their own information to work with as well, as you would imagine, didn't know what was going to happen. So for Valve to drop the ban hammer like they did, it was a big surprise. I think it wasn't well, it wasn't a surprise in the sense that we knew they were going to do something. But for them to go this far was a bit of a surprise. Now the question is, what are they going to do to other players who have been caught doing the same thing?
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like they put their toe in the water. These people are fully banned from ever being even remotely associated with any tournament that you want to stay in Valve's good graces for.
It's kind of a bad deal for them. It's maybe the end of their careers. In the future, maybe they'll be able to come back if they repent significantly. I don't know. But that remains to be seen. For now, we have to look at other players and teams who've been involved in the same thing. We had players from a team called My Revenge in Germany. We have players from a team called Alston in Poland last year who were involved in a similar situation and were proven to be involved in it. Other Polish players as well were involved. Are those players going to get the same punishment as the former iBuyPower players did? Are the players from Epsilon who have been outed? GMX was kicked from the team, then said, hey, you know what? Since I just got kicked, just so you know, my team was involved in match fixing against a Spanish team a while ago.
Did he out himself at the same time?
Well,
screw it, we all were?
He was kind of like, I'm done playing competitively, so now that I'm riding off into the sunset, just so you know, this team I was involved in.
Double bird under the sunset.
Yeah, kind of a double bird. Now it's like, it really raises like the potential for team security, because you don't want to kick a player if he's going to out your former match fixing history.
Weird.
Right? Don't want to ban someone or kick from someone on the team to do that. The rats and the snitches. Although in this case, it's a good thing they're snitching.
Right.
You want to prove this thing out.
Right.
And then one of the teammates in Epsilon who stole with the team says, this did happen, and the organization bans the team or suspends them for the time being. So is Valve wanting to give the same punishment to those guys who did the same exact thing, or at least close enough to it? That's the big question. Is there a double standard? Because the iBuyPower players, the former ones, were the big story,
Right.
So now you're going to ban them in the past, but then in the future, it's just whoever does this from now on.
It seemed like the end of the statement, because it was in bold, it was like, you cannot bet, people cannot bet, you're not allowed to be friends with anybody who makes big bets. It seemed very we're cutting this off, this is serious, stop screwing around, or we're going to come back and we're going to ban all of you again.
Yeah, I think in the future, they definitely are going to take that position, that if you are involved in match fixing, you're going to be screwed. That's just the way it is. The question, like I said, is what do they do to other teams and players who were involved in the past? Because this match took place some months ago.
Right, in November, right?
Further back than that.
Oh, wow.
So these other teams were also involved in old match fixing scandals. Some of them more recent. My Revenge was this year. So are you going to ban them? Are you going to let them go just because they weren't the big story? That's the big question I still have here, as I said before, and I don't think we're going to know around the corner. That's up to Valve, and they're not going to be too eager to tell us until they have a decision ready.
How does the Counter-Strike community feel? Is the consensus that we should just kind of wash our hands of this and hope that this is a big enough shake-up for everybody to stop screwing around, or do they really want these people who have also been proven to get in trouble as well?
I think they're coming around to wanting this all to be outed because you realize the depth of it. I think most people will still underestimate just how deep this goes. If a match is not prominent enough, doesn't have enough consequences attached to it, there's a pretty good chance that it's not on the up. That's just the way it is at the professional level. It has been that way because there's not enough money or consequences involved to convince players not to throw matches, or at least kind of screw with them a little bit. It's hard to say exactly because the players obviously don't want to talk about this kind of thing. You don't want to out yourself in this way, especially like we've seen what Valve did. If there was ever a chance before of someone who's an active competitor coming forward with this, forget that now.
Yeah.
Now that you have the threat of your career being ended by Valve. So it's a funny thing. Hopefully we see more of it be outed. Hopefully Valve reacts the same way across the board, and then we move on and never have this problem again. I'm sure we'll never have a problem like this again.
It's so crazy to me, actually, when we covered this for the No, how many comments were, well, it was a show match, so they shouldn't be in trouble. Like, whatever, they fixed a show match, who cares?
Yeah,
like,
that was the German team doing that. The point is that people were still betting on it.
Right.
So you're stealing money from the people who bet on it. That's what it comes down to. You're defrauding those people out of their money.
Right.
You know, that's the big thing here.
And also, if you cheat a show match, what's to say you're not going to cheat a tournament?
Yeah, it sets a bad precedent, obviously, and it's the same as cheating. It's like using a hack.
You're cheating.
Yeah, because you're affecting the competitive integrity of the game.
Right.
And you're stealing from people. You're defrauding people who are betting on the game. That's what it comes down to. And those are two bad things to do. That's why these players who used to play for iBuyPower got banned by Valve, because those are bad things. They don't want them in the game.
I wish this was the last cheating story I had, but it's not. We'll get to more cheating later. In some brighter news for Counter-Strike fans, Team Solomid chose to pick up the former Dignitas squad and are reportedly offering those players the highest salary in the game today. That was announced shortly after the team finished third at MLG's X Games Invitational. So a team finishes third, but they're making the most money. How does that work?
This just reflects the incoming money and organizational power in Counter-Strike. The game is growing and becoming bigger at the professional level. The viewership's going up. That means big teams and big names are going to get more involved. So we have Team Solomid coming in, CLG, Envy, teams like that, they're coming in. This is what happens. More money. It's good for the players. It's good for the fans. It's maybe not as good for organizations who are currently on top, because they used to pay the most. And now you have TSM coming in paying the most, and the players for the other teams who maybe do better at events than these players do say, hey, why am I not getting paid that much? And what's their manager going to say? What's their team owner going to say to that? It's a hard thing to counter. It's like, well, you know, we just don't pay you as much.
Right.
That's all they can really say. So now you have to up the amounts, up the stakes. You hope you don't want to get a bubble to form and have that burst. But I think it's a good thing. It shows it reflects the growth of the game competitively, professionally, and overall.
Very cool. The Smash Bros. Community had a trying time over the weekend. This is such a crazy story. The biggest Smash event of the year, Apex, was forced to change venues after serious problems were discovered at its original location, causing the place to be shut down by a fire marshal. Now, fortunately, the Smashers were successfully evacuated to a new location, and the event went through. Let's talk about this. This shit was falling apart. Like, It was literally, the hotel was falling apart.
Yes, a garage roof had collapsed calamitously. It looked like a meteor had just fallen into it, an asteroid, a meteorite, whichever would be correct.
I have no clue. Don't ask me.
Someone's going to comment and let us know.
Please
sure.
do.
Please. Which one would be correct for something like hit the roof of a garage?
A projectile of some sort.
Yes, an object from space fell down and collapsed the garage or the roof.
But also there were roofs over people's beds, like ceilings coming in.
Hotel rooms were coming down, just a terrible venue, and then the fire marshal shows up because someone pulls a fire alarm and shuts it down on the spot.
That's always hilarious.
Fuck this place. This place is gone. Everyone else, get out of here. Which is bad. Yeah, fire alarm pulls. How funny.
Happen everywhere. Stop doing that. Stop cheating and stop pulling fire alarms. Sorry, it's going to be like things that make me angry today. Cheating and fire alarms.
So angry you fall down out of your chair.
Yeah, so angry I almost fell out of the chair.
Knock the mic over. Fire alarms. God damn it. It's the worst thing you could do. Just about pull a fire alarm.
Well, so that it's see, now it had a far-reaching consequence.
It did.
They pulled the fire alarm and the entire tournament got shut down.
It did. Good job, whoever did that. You moved the whole event to a new venue.
Actually, good job, yeah, because it actually worked.
It did move the event to a safer venue. Now we're setting a bad precedent here. It's like you pull a fire alarm, you save lives.
Yeah.
The fire marshal comes out.
I'm gonna have to use another recording of this one. No,
so they did eventually play the event
yes.
at a new venue. PPMD won. Great showing by him, beating the top Swedish players to get there, beating everyone he had to, really. And he hadn't played quite so well in some time. So, good to see him doing that. But the event organizers, you have to have some questions here. Like, did you not check that far into the venue? Like, was it really that hard to figure out that this place was so in disrepair that a fire marshal was going to show up and just snap his fingers and shut the whole thing down? I'm not saying they could see everything that was going to happen there, but, it does raise questions about scouting out your event venue, especially for an event as big as Apex, where you're going to have a lot of people there.
Yeah, and it seems like the big story from Apex isn't who played the best or who did the best. Before it even started, they had drama going on with their organizers. Then the hotel fell apart, and this was the first community-run event that Nintendo had ever partnered with. And it seems like such a shame that it went so poorly from start to finish.
It is unfortunate. You had an Apex official who was forced to walk away from his duties because he had said some untoward things towards some underage persons. That's bad. You mentioned the what was the quote?
I'd go pedo for you.
Yes, that's a great thing to
There's
say.
There's no way to excuse that.
No, there's really no context in which that's
Nope.
not going to get you in
Never
trouble.
going to be okay.
So they had that going on before Apex started, and then the event finally gets here. It's like, okay, we're going to play. It's going to be great. And then there's a collapsed roof. There's ceilings falling down. There's a fire marshal showing up and shutting everything down. They have to move the whole event. To the credit of the people involved here and the organizers and people who were helping them out, they got everything played. That's a big thing considering all the shit they'd gone through previously.
Absolutely. And there were a lot of people who made it happen, right? I know Twitch was involved in getting everything set up. So it seemed like a community effort to kind of get everything together.
Group effort. That's just fantastic to see that, especially after all the shit they went through before.
Right.
So good job to those who, helped out in this matter.
Wish it had started and gone better for you. And now some Hearthstone controversy. Here we go with more cheating. Raphael Hosty Santilli was removed from Team Arkin after being accused of stream sniping. This is a really dumb way to cheat that involves watching the stream broadcast of the game you yourself are currently playing in the hopes of seeing which cards your opponent is keeping in their hand. With many streams being on a significant delay, it's not always easy to do, but apparently it was enough to see Santilli booted from his team. Let's talk about how he got caught, because this is my favorite part of this story.
Yes, he had glass behind him, a picture frame, I believe, and you could see on the reflection of that picture frame the stream he was watching of his own match. So you're caught cheating by the picture frame behind you in your room. That's like world's dumbest criminals.
What a jackass.
Now, he could say, I wasn't actually cheating, I just idled the channel. Great, if you say so. Also in the chat room, of course, so you can see what's being said about the cards. But the game, at least one of the games, went longer than 10 minutes, which was the delay. So you could potentially have some information there. Like a person could hold a card in their hand for that long. You have a card like the Black Knight was an example that was brought up. It's a card that destroys a taunt minion. Well, that you might hold for a while, and if you see your opponent has that, even if they had it 10 minutes ago and they still haven't played it, then you know going forward, okay, they got it in their hand, I got to play around that. So it is possible for...
Yeah, don't ignore that. That happens in this office.
It is possible for a 10-minute delay still to be used to your advantage, and that's why this was done. But yeah, to have a reflective surface behind you when you have the stream of your own game in front of you,
right?
It's a little bit silly.
I don't want to say let's be smarter about how we cheat. Let's not cheat.
Let's be dumber about how we
Say
cheat.
it.
Actually, let's be as stupid as we can so we can get caught immediately.
You guys are such jackasses, cheaters.
If you're match fixing, if you're cheating, if you're pulling fire alarms.
Well, they text each other about their match fixing. You're like, hey, bro, don't bet on that one. Gonna lose, LOL. And those were all the text messages that came out.
They text their girlfriends about it, and they have messy breakups, and that works against you. It's just, the whole thing. Just don't do it.
Just don't cheat.
Just don't cheat. Don't match fix. Don't stream snipe. Especially don't do that.
It's real dumb.
Don't
I don't
hang
understand how
picture frames in bad locations.
People keep getting caught. You're not smarter than the system.
Look, TSM's going to come and pay you, tons of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe. Not that much quite, but you're going to get paid if you play well and you grow with the game. Do it the right way.
Exactly. We're here to encourage you on the leaderboard.
Exactly.
That's it for this edition of the leaderboard. Join me on Friday for the Know It All, and I will see you guys next time. GG.